Let's hear from Mwoki and get to know what's happening from a Ruff and Tuff 7th Rugby Inaugural Tournament happening along Ngong Road. Mwoki, take it away.
A very good afternoon, wherever you're watching us from. Welcome to this live broadcast coming to you live from Ngong Race Course, where the inaugural Ruff and Tuff Rugby 7th Championship that is sponsored by Crown Paints is underway. And it is a precursor to the upcoming National 7th Circuit, which will be held in Mombasa with the Driftwood Sevens, which is slated for 26th and 27th of this month. And they'll be joined by one of the partners, that is Crown Paints Chairman Richard Mutwiri, who is also the Northern Scripts Chairman. He's going to tell us more about this tournament and the growth of rugby in Kenya as they will prepare for the upcoming National 7th Circuit. Welcome to this live broadcast. Let me briefly just tell us about the inaugural Ruff and Tuff.
Yeah, good afternoon. My name is Richard Mutwiri. I'm the Group Chief Operating Officer for Crown Paints and also the Chairman for Nondis Rugby Club. This particular invitation came about when we decided from a strategic point of view as Crown Paints to start engaging in a more dynamic way. Sponsoring sport for Crown is not new. We really went into in a big way in soccer, and if for the people who will remember, Crown Paints supported AFC Leopards and the Kenya Premier League, and that sponsorship went towards the mid-80s, and now we are just getting ourselves back into field sports from our traditional golfing sponsorships that we do. Now, the reason why we decided to come into rugby is because as we are looking at our strategy for the next 5 years, we've come to understand that the dynamics of our professionals who we do a lot of business with is changing. The demographics is changing. They're getting younger, more digital, and more engaged in a lot more activities than we had presumed before. We tested this particular strategy when we sponsored the Kenya Rugby Shujaa team in the last 3 legs of the IRB World Championship Sevens, and we hosted them and we sponsored the Singapore, the Toronto in Canada, and the LA legs. And we really got a good feedback from especially our professionals who are in the business, dealers, and community at large. We then went back to the drawing board and we came up with an idea to come up with an event that touches all these touch points through rugby, because rugby is the largest growing sport in the country, and we came up with this tournament called the Ruff and Tuff Invitational. The Ruff and Tuff Invitational involves 8 community teams. Basically, these are teams that are not professional in the league. The league has 12 teams. 4 of them are co-sponsored by big corporates. In this particular case, these are community clubs. We have 3 universities, institutions, and 5 community clubs. And these club players predominantly come from underprivileged backgrounds. And one of the key challenges that we have seen is that for some reason or another, the kind of players that we are seeing making their way to the national team are predominantly coming from the professional clubs. And we really wanted to showcase that the community clubs can produce the talent, the capability, and the ability to be able to produce talent that can feed into the Kenya team. So here we have community clubs like Nakuru, coming all the way from Nakuru. Nondis is a community club, the oldest club in the country, 102 years old this year. We've got Black Blood, the university, we've got Strathmore University, USIU, the university, and Impala and Harlequins respectively. So today we're going to showcase the best of talent coming from pure amateurs in the country. We are delighted to be here. We are engaged. Crown Paints is very happy to be hosted by Nondis. The ground's looking good, the crowd's piling up, and we really just want to urge everybody to come and support today. And we are really looking forward to making sure that this begins the conversation around how we want to engage rugby in this country for the next 5, 10, 15 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We understand the inaugural, the Ruff and Tuff. Maybe what are some of the reasons that push you to coming up with such an initiative?
Yeah, I think it's so important that one of my key objectives and one of the key successes that we will see coming out of this is if we can get 2 or 3 players being called by the Kenya team coming out from an event like this. And what a story that would be, that somebody from Kibera or from Mathare or from Mukuru came through a rugby structure that actually recognized their talent and was able to pull it all the way up to national level. For me, that is the key achievement here. And how we support that process, we mean that we are now actually touching the communities that we are living in and engaging with the people in the environment that we live in and connecting with our partners in business as well through the initiatives that they're also trying to do with the communities we work in. That's really the objective here today.
You have witnessed several matches here today. Maybe how has been the level of competition?
Look, it's not a joke. The quality of the players that we have here it's serious high-level quality. These are players who play in the Kenya Cup. They work their way through their clubs and coming up the structures within their clubs to make it to this level. And when you're picking your only 12 best team people to play the sevens for you, it's no mean feat. And I hope Kenya Rugby is represented here today. I hope that they'll be able to recognize that talent and start understanding that we do have talent coming from community clubs that are equally, if not better, than the quality that we have seen coming through the Shujaa teams in the Kenya at the Kenya level. Yeah.
We know that you are wearing two hats today, being a partner and again the nondescript. Maybe tell us maybe about the nondescript now. There's the upcoming National 7 circuit.
Yes.
Maybe, what are the preparations so far?
So Nondis is a club the first rugby club in Kenya. It was formed in 1923, and today, actually this July, we are celebrating 102 years of Nondis rugby. Nondis rugby is very special to rugby in Kenya, and the reason being, as much as being the pioneer club, we are the most successful club in the country. We have 17 Kenya Cup wins and 25 Enterprise Cup wins in our history. And we continue to be true to ourselves. We remain a community club. We don't have a big corporate sponsoring us. Every year we have to go out and look for people to support us, and a lot of the resources that we need comes from equipment for the players. It comes from a lot of the travel that we have to do. For instance, when you have to make a trip and play in Kabras in Kakamega, or you have to go and play in Kisumu, you have to go and play in Mombasa, it all needs funding. And remembering that we are trying to support these young guys coming from the community, coming through the club, and making sure that we maintain. We are the number 4 ranking club in the country today. Unpaid players, unpaid management, unpaid boards, and that is how we keep the culture of Nondis going. And that is what is going to sustain us. And the 100 years that we've had so far, I believe we continue on this momentum. We do understand and adjust ourselves from the demographics that we see around the place, but we are true to ourselves, and we know that we can sustain this model for the next 100 years. And one of these days, a community club will be champions of Kenya Cup, and it will be Nondis once again. That's the club in a nutshell. 140 players registered today. More players wanting to come to play for Nondis, and this is the reason why the culture, the spirit, the vibe, and what we are able to deliver for the game, like we are seeing here today, is what keeps this club strong and true to itself. Yeah.
Maybe your final comments. We understand this is the first edition. Are we expecting to see more of this?
Yes. This edition, as you can tell, it's 8 clubs, and it's over 1 day. And one of the reasons is because, as you can see, we're at the race course. Tomorrow there are races, so we couldn't have a 2-day event. We really hope that we can build in more clubs. We had Mombasa interested, we had Kisumu interested, all the other community clubs are interested, even the professional clubs are now expressing interest to come. We want us Crown to make this an annual event, and we hopefully by next year we'll be able to transition this and make it a 2-day event, and we can involve more teams to come together and move this forward. The key thing right now, where the enthusiasm for the teams that we are seeing here today, next week the National 7 circuit begins, and I think it begins in the Driftwood in Mombasa. And so the teams were really getting themselves ready, testing their players and seeing what the right combinations are to get ready for the National 7 circuit. So it's going to be it's a great build-up for the teams that we are seeing here today, and we hope that we will see one of the teams coming out of here probably winning the circuit and winning many legs of the legs that are coming forward in the National 7 circuit out of today. So that's where we are right now. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That has been the Ruff and Tuff partner who is wearing two hats today, being the chairman of Nondis and a partner in this inaugural edition of the Ruff and Tuff Rugby Sevens Championship, which has attracted 8 community rugby clubs. It is a precursor to the upcoming National 7 circuit, which is set to begin on 26th and 27th in Mombasa. We'll keep you posted about what will be happening, and also as we focus on the upcoming National Sevens Circuit later in our subsequent bulletins. Thank you so much.
And when we say, if you like it, crown it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good.
Oh, thank you very much. That was Richard Muturi. Richard Muturi, you know, clearly calling it out there, and our very own Moki also talking to us about the Ruff and Tuff, you know, Rugby Sevens Inaugural Championship. Very interesting indeed. The Driftwood Sevens will be kicking off the Sevens circuit that's coming up next weekend.